Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to another pre-market broadcast where I get a few members of the team and we share our watches for the day. It is Tuesday, the 17th of June. I mean, absolutely, there's tons going on as always. A couple of things just before we get started. We obviously do this every single day in the room at 8:45. If you enjoy what you see today, then please be sure to check us out. Just a quick disclaimer, this video is for information and education purposes only. If you're fine with that, then please continue to watch. Just before I hand you over to the Godfather stands up first today, I just wanted to touch on, to be honest, we don't do a great job actually of singing just the praises of RU and just how good the tech is, the tools, etc. So the best way to do that is just to give you guys a chance to check us out. So we're running a bit of a short-term test drive, 14 days, $49. I mean, you're not going to get it cheaper than that. Just come check us out. And I think well, if you haven't already got us already, you're definitely going to be surprised at just some of the tools that we have on offer. All right, cool. Let's get stuck in. Stan, take it away.
All right, very good. Thank you, Sam. Good morning, everyone. We have June 17th, Tuesday. And let's go over a couple of charts, just make some sense out of them. UNH, I just put it up, not really on watch, I just put it up because I saw an alert come for 424B. So there's some sort of a filing going on in there. But, looking at the daily, we're just going sideways right now. So there's really no interest for me. If this thing was above 320 or if it was below 290, then maybe. But for right now, just this thing is just sideways. So anyways, onto some main watches. First one will be CRCL. CRCL, obviously recent IPO. We've had several IPOs, recently within the last several months or so that have come up. Really nice opportunity so far. As far as the opportunity for today, looking at the daily chart, I mean, you can clearly see a nice little leg. Then it digests for a few sessions, swipes up, and then on, gap up and on to the next leg it goes. So keeping that in mind, I would like to use some of yesterday's levels for some sort of risk management, some sort of risk guide management, if you would. So ideally, if we open up today 157s, 158s, etc., if we open up today and then swipe through 160s, swipe through this the pre-market area right here, or even even check in with yesterday's highs. 165s, etc., and then fails to follow through, then I don't mind joining. For me, for the trade for it to work, I need for it to be under VWAP. So if it's 10:30, 10:45, 11 a.m. and CRCL is firming up above VWAP, or it's steadily moving above VWAP, then I have no interest. So ideally, some exhaustion versus 160 and then fail to follow through for an all-day fade. That would be, that's essentially my wish list. Again, we'll need to take it, minute by minute with CRCL. The next one that I have on watch is CRWV. CRWV is CRWV similar chart. Obviously, this has been out for a little bit longer, but as far as the build, as far as the movement, the emotional aspect of it, pretty similar chart. So looking left on this thing, for me, I would like to scale in versus 160s. If this 157s, 160 stays top, if we have trouble with VWAP, etc., I don't mind joining for some fail to follow through, and ideally, we get a nice flush. This has been chopping around in this upper range, in this 140 to 160 channel, this $20 channel. So we've been digesting that for the last couple weeks, give or take, and then the next move for me, it's either break below that congestion zone or a rip higher for the following leg. And then some smaller caps that are coming up on watch. I have this ACXP. Clearly, so far I have no interest in a pre-market chart like this. This thing hasn't even touched VWAP since the morning. So ideally, some sort of a blowout out of the gate, maybe 130s, 150s, whatever it decides to do. Not much information I can get from the daily chart. It's a typical small cap left-hand side daily chart. So ideally 130s, 140s, maybe rechecking with this previous congestion here around the 150s area, and then look to look for a fail to follow through momentum setup from there. And I believe that's pretty much it for me. And with that, I will pass this over to Emil.
All right, thank you, Stan. Morning, everyone. So for me, it's going to be Roku today. I like the fact that yesterday managed to have a breakout of this area and the volume was surging. And this morning it's gapping up slightly. So I would be really interested in buying dips versus 82 or green to red area. And I'm going to risk yesterday lows in the first phase. So if those dips are going to take place, I'm going to dabble some, and then if it starts to perk later in the day, might add as it moves, and then move the stop at low of the day, ideally. Or if it's going to just build up above this, a 42 area, and then having an opening range break, then taking along with risk at low of the day, looking for some follow through in the next few days, and yeah, pretty much that's what I'm looking there. Joby, another name I'm watching. I like this one mostly because had a nice dip, and yesterday, yesterday had this gap up and sort of held. So if today it's going to stay above 885-ish area, dips build up and then starts to perk from there, I'm going to be interested in a long trade. Also, HIMS, another name I'm watching for a long. I really like this base and it's starting to coil up. And yesterday the volume surge a bit. So basically any build up above 58.50-ish area or opening range break, I'm interested in taking a long position. I'm going to risk slightly under, maybe 58-ish area. Ideally, it's going to build up and have some follow through in order to keep this, this one in check. Crocs, this is a side. This is a side watch. I like this one mostly because I had a nice dive. I was expecting yesterday to see a more washout after the open, but actually gapped up and had a pretty strong day actually. So any build up on this one above 100 area, I am going to consider for some upside. Ideally, it's going to find a base above 101 area, more or less, and then having an opening range break. So looking for a bounce, at least for a few days on this name. ACXP, the small cap of the day, that it's still having a decent range into open. Nothing for me right now, but I am going to be watching any bluff, looking at 150-ish more or less as a risk. So any push higher and stuff, I'm going to be interested in a short. Not really interested to short it unless it's going to do that type of move, bluff and fail, or losing 90 area, and then I'm going to risk a 120-ish more or less if decides to give some sort of a squeeze after the open. And the last one, it's SLRX. This one already faded quite a bit, but still the range is there. So ideally, it's going to give some pops versus, against 150 or even slightly higher, 160, where this support became resistance here. So any pops against that level, I'm going to be interested in getting involved in a short and then add on it if it's going to stay heavy. So yeah, pretty much that's it for me today, guys. Good luck, and passing it over to Jura.
Good morning. So I'll just jump in, start off with, names with really catalysts or movers this morning, which is only apps. It's barely moving this morning, though. They had this earnings out last night. This move back here was off of earnings. We had a great gap, great follow through, and we pretty much just put in this, this deep, type of cup, and now we put in a little handle, and now we're just trying to push out a little bit where, over this 5 level, I want to see, some volume come in off of open and start the trend. I think that we could, get some good moves, but names like this, they usually tend to push way too much off of open, and by the time that I want to get in, it's already beyond where, I'd like to get in. So ideally, if it doesn't do that, if we get some sort of like yank and then come back, then that would be more of interest. If we do push too much off of open, then I'll be waiting for a little 5-10 minute pullback into VWAP or undercut and a better opportunity there. So APPS, the only one with a catalyst or news that I'm interested in trading. CRWV, still not breaking down. I'm sure this is on everyone's radars. Pretty much just watching for, continuation. Yesterday, hit my alerts, and, I pretty much mentioned in IU that, I think this could go 158 plus, looking at some prior levels on different time frames. And I just wouldn't be shocked to see this go further if the market agrees. APLD had that data center news with CRWV. I believe they sold their stake, but they still have that, that lease, and it still has the volume. It's pulling back into this moving average, getting a little tight here. Decent end of day grind back yesterday, and I'm just looking for some follow through. This is also in the, Bitcoin AI infrastructure data center with, cores and HUT and iron. So cores in that field, pretty much grinding. We get this double on the daily this month. Now we're just tightening up. We're just sitting just above the moving averages here. Looking for any push of open to join that. HUT is another one in that same field that I'd be looking for. There's also iron, but I just don't want to get involved in all of them. So it's really going to be, APLD, then cores, and HUT, probably in that order. That's pretty much my main, but, SMCI starting to shape up here. Just looking for any sort of push through that trend line for a continuation. We got Tesla, just an impressive bounce, pretty much undercut and then rallied back off of, that 50-day. And now we're just pressing up against this, this 100-day. And I'm just kind of looking for that push through 330s. Again, market would have to agree. It's pretty much been respecting so far the 20 moving average here. So either we get some sort of flush and wick again, a little undercut of the 10, or we just continue to build. But we're just grinding here. So most of what I have on watch will depend on, the markets. PL, pretty much just putting in a tight day again after wicking off this 10. If we could trend back, 550s plus, then potential sort of trade there. And then Joby probably needs more time. This also reminds me of, ACHR back here where we had that move and then it just rolled over. So I'm just going to keep an eye on it off of open, but, volume's kind of just not drying up, but decreasing. We're supporting this, this 10 moving average as well. But, nothing I'm extremely excited about today. The market's just, hovering around this 599 key that I have. And yeah, we'll see what that does. There's also, Bitcoin I never pulled it up here, so I'm not sure I will be able to. Okay. Bitcoin, I can't really pull it up there, but that's obviously going to determine, how well these other infrastructure names do. But that's pretty much my watch for today. I'll pass it back to Sam.
Super. Thank you, Judah. Thank you, Stan. Thank you, Emil, as well. I mean, tons of variety as well today, like there always is. And as I always say, just pick out your favorite ones and, the setups that make sense and get in where you fit in. Just a reminder, like I said, if you are intrigued about IU, if you haven't checked this out before, or if you haven't checked this out in a while, then you'd be surprised at the changes that have been made in the last few years, particularly the tools. And if you also want to hear what Nate has on watch today, then he's writing. I mean, he's written loads in the chat already today. So like I said, we're running that test drive, $49 for 14 days. Go tell your friends. Thanks, everyone. Trade them well today, guys, and we will see you all in the